decision to send special envoys of Honorable Prime Minister to the 4 countries neighboring, well actually 5, but we have a common envoy for 2 countries, to the countries neighboring Ukraine. Specifically, Honorable Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia will be going to Romania and will also go to Moldova, and I'll come to a bit on the Moldova story. Honorable Minister Kiren Rijiju will go to the Slovak Republic. Honorable Minister Hardeep Puri would be going to Hungary, and Honorable Minister General V.K. Singh would be going to Poland. You've seen some reports already, let me confirm that. These special envoys will be traveling to these countries basically to coordinate and oversee the evacuation process there on the ground. If situation permitting, you might also find them going to the as close as possible to where the evacuation happening. So that will depend on the specific circumstances. But I think you will see them operating there, coordinating all the efforts and, as I mentioned, being in touch with local authorities and as well as with other partners that are helping in this process. Having said that, just to give you a sense of where our evacuation efforts are, let me begin by saying that the situation on the ground in terms of evacuation continues to be complex and fluid. You've seen that from the reports, media reports that are coming in, some of them quite concerning. Nevertheless, we have been able to accelerate our evacuation process clearly over the last 24 hours. And I will give you separate elements of that. Just a broad numbers. Our estimate is that we have, more than estimate, I think, around 8,000, over 8,000 Indian nationals have left Ukraine since we issued the initial advisories. So I go back, it's not since the conflict began, but since we issued the initial advisories, our estimate to the extent that we don't exactly know how many left between the advisory and the conflict started. We think around 8,000 citizens have left. And as I speak, I think the 6th flight has just landed. So 6 evacuation flights have landed in India, bringing back around 1,396, I think is the number that I have, 1,400 students, Indian citizens. These are 4 flights were from Bucharest, as you remember, and 2 from Budapest. So the from Bucharest and 2 from Budapest. So these 6 flights have brought back around 1,396 Indian nationals. I will come in a minute. I will come back to the
6 flights, right?
Yeah. Let me repeat again. Sorry, I think there's some confusion. As I said, over 8,000 citizens have left. That is over the advisory period, and then of course the Operation Ganga as it had started. We have had 6 evacuation flights that have landed in India. The 6th one having landed just a little while ago in Delhi. Of these 6 flights, 4 left Bucharest and 2 were from Budapest. The total number of people on these flights, 1,396. That's what our numbers are. I will come back to the flights in a minute. Our focus, of course, is on the land borders before they go to the flights, getting people out from Ukraine through the land borders. There has been some movement, an improvement on the movement into Poland. As we were discussing yesterday about the difficulties at the Polish border. I think they're still difficult, but I think it's improved. Our embassy in Warsaw was able to arrange buses at the Sheni border point. There's a Sheni Medica border point. The Sheni side is on the Ukrainian side. So do remember that we're talking about the Ukrainian side. Things are much easier to do on whether it's the Polish or the Romanian or the Hungarian or the Slovak side. It's inside Ukraine, but I must say our embassy was able to organize a fleet of 10 buses, and I think now that's being expanded, to take students who've been stuck at the Sheni border point and take them to the Krakowiec, which is where the main border crossing is, and also to a place called Budomierz, which is even more north, a few more kilometers north on the same Polish border, and facilitate their crossing into Poland. So that has helped take off some of the pressure there. But again, this is a continuing process because there were a lot of students, and I think they still are there. On the Polish side, once they cross the border, arrangements for food and accommodation have been made in the nearby town of Resso, I think it's pronounced Resso. And a number of Indians are there currently awaiting their flights back to India. So this is a good development. We managed to get some people across, and hopefully as this bus movement and taking them to the other border points continues, we should be able to ease some of the pressure. But I must emphasize that there is still a large number of Ukrainians and other citizens at the borders. The border is pretty crowded.